Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh and this is your stimulus check update for the second stimulus package for Friday, July 24th. I hope everyone is having a good and safe Friday so far. In this video, I'll be discussing both the first and second stimulus checks, including some GOP senators now calling for a massive reduction in federal unemployment benefits. I'll also be discussing the second round of stimulus payments, who all might be eligible, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly liking this video, giving me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so just real quickly, I wanted to touch base on the first round of stimulus payments for those people who still haven't received them, because believe it or not, unfortunately, there are still millions of people who haven't even received their first round of stimulus payments. Now, there are going to be some more stimulus payments directly deposited next week on Wednesday, July 29th. So in the meantime, continue checking the payment portal and let me know in the comment section below if you've received your first stimulus payment, and let me know in the comment section if you're still waiting for your first round of stimulus payments. Remember, as long as you were eligible for the first round of stimulus payments, the IRS will eventually pay you, but they're just extremely slow, they're extremely behind, but they will eventually get to you. Also, just another reminder, you can most definitely still get in touch with the IRS in regards to your first stimulus payment. If you would like to call them, their phone number is 1-800-919-9835. The one recommendation that I would have if you do decide to call them is to try calling a little bit earlier in the day, because generally they have a little bit longer hold times later on in the day. All right, so the Senate is once again back in Washington today for day 5 of their briefings, so hopefully we can hear some really exciting developments today. Counting today, the Senate will have just 11 working days to get this next stimulus package passed. That's because after August 7th, they will be going on another month-long recess. Now, it is possible that they may end up actually delaying that recess in order to get this next stimulus package passed, but they haven't yet come out and said whether they plan on delaying their recess in order to get this next relief package passed. Now, most people would actually hope that the Senate will be able to pass this bill much quicker than the 7th, as the federal unemployment boost benefits set to expire on the 31st. This means that millions of Americans will no longer be receiving the $600 federal weekly unemployment benefits. That would be very bad news, not only for the families no longer receiving those benefits, but it could also be potentially devastating for the economy as well. Now, some Republican senators have actually discussed possibly extending the federal unemployment benefits for a short period of time to sort of work as a bridge between where we are now and passing of the next relief package. This is actually something that I've personally been calling for a long period of time. Each piece of legislation should only have one bill. So, quite frankly, the extension of the federal unemployment benefits should have its own bill. We should not be trying to combine multiple pieces of legislation into one bill. That only further complicates things. Anyways, even though an extension of the federal unemployment benefits is being discussed, it's still unclear of how long they would be extended for and how much it would be for. Some GOP senators have even considered extending the federal unemployment benefits through the end of the year at $400 per month. That's right, $400 per month, not per week. That would be a $500 per week reduction in comparison to what people were previously receiving. This $100 weekly federal unemployment boost is down even further from what they were previously suggesting at $200 on a weekly basis. Now, in my personal opinion, I believe they are actually lowering this number even further, because they believe that whenever they get in the same room as Democrats and sit down and try to negotiate the bill, they know they're going to have to move up from that number, up from perhaps $100 to $200 to $300. Remember, a bipartisan agreement on the exact number will have to take place in order to get this bill passed. And if you remember, the House Majority Democrats passed the HEROES Act back in May, which would have extended the federal unemployment benefits through the end of January 2021 at $600 on a weekly basis. If the Republicans come into the negotiating room with a $100 per week proposal and the Democrats fire back with $600 on a weekly basis, it's likely they'll end up meeting somewhere in the middle between $250 and $400. What would you guys personally like to see here? Do you believe that it's fair to cut the unemployment benefits in half, down between the $250 to $400 on a weekly basis range? Or do you think that we should keep them the same at $600 on a weekly basis? Leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know what your thoughts are on that. Now, as far as the second round of stimulus payments go, we still have a lot to be optimistic about. This is yet another bipartisan issue where both the Democrats and the Republicans feel the necessity to send out another round of stimulus payments. And once again, this is leaving me to wonder why we can't just pass one simple bill right now, passing another round of stimulus payments. both the Democrats and the Republicans want another round of stimulus payments. The only question that's left up in the air is who all will be eligible to receive them and how much these stimulus payments will be for. The House Majority Democrats passed the HEROES Act back in May, which included another round of stimulus payments of $1,200 to all Americans, and also included those dependents over the age of 17 who were left out in the CARES Act. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had indicated that perhaps he would like to target these stimulus payments to lower income brackets, and with him saying that, we could also speculate that dependents over the age of 17 would most likely be left out. More than likely, the Republicans and the Democrats will end up meeting somewhere in the middle between their two proposals. This means that more than likely we're probably going to see something like the CARES Act again, where single individuals making less than $75,000 per year and married filers earning less than $150,000 per year will be earning $1,200 stimulus payments. This would also mean that people on different Social Security benefits, such as survivors, retirement, and disability, would also be eligible for another round of stimulus payments, as long as they're not being claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. Do you personally believe that we should be sending out more stimulus payments for the next round, less stimulus payments, or do you think that we should keep it the same as in the CARES Act? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Although there are still ongoing debates in regards to unemployment and other details, GOP senators and the White House did agree on some key parts of the next relief package regarding funding for schools and testing. Senate Appropriations Chairman Richard Shelby announced the fundamental agreement, which included $105 billion for schools and $16 billion in additional funds for testing for the virus. The Senate GOP's agenda is to get kids back in school, childcare, and getting people back to work. So this agreement certainly reflects what their priorities are. A payroll tax cut is another issue up for debate in the Senate, and even though President Trump went as far as to saying that he would consider vetoing any bill that does not include a payroll tax cut, a lot of other Republicans aren't so convinced that a payroll tax cut would be the best way to go here. South Dakota Senator John Thune, for example, said, quote, "I'm not a fan of that. I've been very clear about that." So it's pretty clear at the moment that it's going to be pretty difficult getting other Republicans on board with a payroll tax cut. Thune went on to say, quote, "We'll see what it looks like, but if it's a choice between doing stimulus checks and a payroll tax cut, I think it's pretty clear that the checks have a more direct benefit to the economy." What do you guys personally think about this? Can you think of any scenario where you would rather receive a payroll tax cut rather than a stimulus check? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. In either case, I would expect that it would be very difficult to have both a payroll tax cut and a second round of stimulus payments, which of course makes sending out another round of stimulus payments that much more of an obvious choice. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt said, quote, "I think both the direct payments and the elimination of payroll taxes would be a pretty big part of the package. Either one would be. Both of them would be, my guess is, challenging to do and do much else under $1 trillion. Now, $1 trillion is the proposed budget by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, which is also much lower than the $3 trillion bill that the House Majority Democrats passed back in May. The big downside of a payroll tax cut is that it could potentially reduce funding for Social Security, which is already facing its shortfalls. It also wouldn't have any impact whatsoever on those people who are currently not working. It's also been discussed that the possible payroll tax cut could be structured as a payroll tax deferral, meaning that you'd actually have to pay it back at a later date. Now, once again, just my opinion here, but this would be one of the silliest ideas that we could possibly have. The government would essentially be loaning us a little bit of money up front, but then we'd have to pay all that money back later. Now, once again, I ask you guys, what do you guys personally think about a payroll tax cut where we'd have to pay all that money back later? Would you like to have sort of a short-term loan for the government where we'd have to pay all those funds back at a later date? Let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comment section below. Now, with all that said, we should begin to learn even more about the next stimulus package next week. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin did say that he would like this next relief package to be passed by July 31st, although House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy expressed his doubts on that, and he doesn't think it's going to get passed until the first week of August. Once again, I do firmly believe that we have a lot to be optimistic about. Stimulus payments, for example, are a bipartisan issue, so we should definitely be receiving a second round of stimulus payments, and the unemployment benefits should also be extended, as that's also a bipartisan issue. Even though it may not be at the full $600 on a weekly basis, at least it will get extended, so it will provide some help to those families who are experiencing job loss right now. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and answer some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you have any other comments or questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to respond to as many comments and questions as I possibly can. And those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video. And that comment comes from Denise. Denise says, do people on SSDI get a stimulus check? All right, thank you so much for that question, Denise. And yes, I would expect people on SSDI to receive a second stimulus payment. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin did say that everyone who received a stimulus payment in the first round should also be eligible in the second round as well. And even if Mitch McConnell tries to place stricter limits on who would be eligible for the second round of stimulus payments, I would still expect people on Social Security benefits to be included in the second round of stimulus payments as well. All right, so the next question of today's video comes from Mildred. Mildred says, good morning. My question is, if someone filed you on their taxes and you didn't get a stimulus check the first time, would you be eligible for the second stimulus check? All right, thank you so much for that question, Mildred. And unfortunately, since the next stimulus package has not yet passed, we're still unsure on who will be included and who won't be included. Though it is my guess, because we're trying to keep spinning down for the next stimulus package, most likely dependents over the age of 17 will not receive any type of stimulus payments, much like in the first round. All right, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull, the second free stock valued all the way up to $1,400, please feel free to claim those 2 free stocks by clicking the link in the description box below. And until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.